Alright, here we go. Team Tiny Hands. We are doing a draft league. That's going to be an off intro, but hello everybody. So today we have a different type of video for you guys. We're going to try do a draft league. As you can see, NPCL Season 9. So some background info. There's a community out there called the National Pokemon Competitive League, NPCL. That's the acronym. It's a Discord server, Facebook group. You can find them. I usually leave their links down below in those Wi-Fi battle videos, so feel free to check them out. Their links will be in the description here as well. But yes, this is draft league content. So for the next however many weeks and until we're eliminated, or if we win the whole dang thing, we're going to be doing draft league content. So of course, this is being filmed sometime after the draft, but we're going to go over our team, as you can see. But first, why draft league content? Because I think I need to up my game a bit in those Wi-Fi battles. These guys have obviously 9 seasons of experience, you know, varying people across Facebook, Discord, and other social medias. So it is a very competitive league. You know, these guys know their stuff. So that's why we're in it. I figured it's summer school. It makes my job easier for me because only half day and not a full day of school, and therefore I have time to do this, and therefore we entered. So enough with that greeting here. Please like and subscribe, and we're going to be doing a lot of draft content. So format's going to be team builder, the battle, and raw footage, and post review. So that's 3 videos a day, not 3 videos a day, 3 videos a week, still coming to you in I don't know what order. I don't know what the algorithm wants this channel to post on, but we're going to be aiming for 3 videos a week, and it will be a team builder with the battle and the post review. And so for this week, it'll just be this team builder, our draft with what we got, and some possible sub ideas for future games. At this current recording, I believe we are on week 3, week 4, something like that. So yes, little delayed, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Point is, we're getting it now. So let's begin. So NPCL, they allowed us to draft in. There's 11 picks total, and I know you see more than 11 Pokemon here, but 11 picks total. So you have 1 tier 1 pick, 2 tier 2 picks, 2 tier 3 picks, 3 tier 4 picks, and 3 tier 5/6 picks. So meaning tier 5 and tier 6. They're like categorized in together. So let's start at the top. Being our tier 1 pick is Celesteela. There's 32 people in this draft, I should mention, and they're split into 2 conferences with 2 divisions in each conference. So effectively it is a 16-person draft, 32 people total, but 16-person draft. And in the conference, like, everyone's drafting from the same pool despite being in 2 different divisions. I hope I explained that correctly. But yeah, we were picked 8th pick overall, so smack dab right in the middle. So going by what everybody picked, I thought the best option is Celesteela. So Celesteela is our tier 1 pick, and I'll be going through some sample sets. Celesteela is very versatile, can be very tanky. Look at these stats for freak's sakes. Look at that, all 100 across the board with his defense, and a very decent 97 base HP to help with that. Speed is middling, but of course Celesteela isn't meant to be the fastest thing in the shed. Celesteela is very versatile. We have our defensive sets right here, you know, and we're playing on national decks. I forgot to mention that. So with the national decks being back, we do have access to hidden powers and toxic. Where did toxic go? Toxic. So with national decks, the main rules of this is pretty much there's no Terra, there's no Z crystals, there's no Gigantamax, Dynamax, but we do have access to Megas, which you have to draft the Mega. So if I only draft Charizard, I can't Mega Evolve into Charizard. I have to draft either Zard X or Zard Y in order to Mega Evolve into Zard X or Zard Y. I cannot switch the item. So you'll see that when we go into Audino. But also, yeah, so you can Mega and then you have hidden powers and all the movesets from Gens 1 through 9 with all of the moves and stuff. So Celesteela did not get Toxic in Gen 8, but since it had it in Gen 7, there's Toxic. So this is going to be a very hard draft because I don't know the meta fully of what new move Mons get in Gen 9 yet, but also remembering past generations, that's going to be a very tough go about. But yeah, Celesteela is very versatile again. This is the standard defensive set. Of course, you can run special, you can run with, Air Slash right here, Flash Cannon instead of Heavy Slam, Toxics and whatnot. Another moveset here could be the Autotomized Special Meteor Beam moveset, which does hit pretty dang hard, Celesteela Autotomized at +2 does have very good sweeping potential. Another one is a weakness policy one. This is also quite common. I've seen these in some draft league footage as of other draft leagues, and I've seen this do pretty well because ground rock coverage is pretty dang good at covering just about everything, and Heavy Slam for stab. And then of course we have this special variant. I'm just listing off some movesets. I'm not listing off all of the movesets, but that's just an example for Celesteela. Now our tier 2 pick. Our first tier 2 pick was Cinderace, and the alternative was Arcanine. Cinderace I figured is really good, so I can't use Libero or Protein with my Cinderace and Meowscarada, as you'll see later on, simply because that's just the rule. I don't know, I'm not part of the committee, that's what the selection committee decided, so there we go. Cinderace, is a really good at hazard control in the sense where it's very quick at 119 speed, base speed, and you can court change pretty much at an opportune time, and then I can get the hell out of there with U-turn, right? Or I can do a big ton of damage with my Pyro Ball / high jump kick, right? Cinderace is there to just hit very hard and control the hazards. It is some form of hazard control. It is a unique form of hazard control. It is forcing the opponent to spin and defog instead of myself, and as you'll notice, that'll be a theme for this team. So I thought Cinderace would be a very good pick. Arcanine was a good second just because to have the little extra bit of bulk, but I also thought Cinderace would come first just because Cinderace is a great mon. It's OU for a reason, right? The other ones, another Cinderace set could be a Scarf set, could be a Banded set, could be a set with, do I have it here? Could be a set with Trailblaze Swords Dance because it gets Swords Dance. It also gets bulk up, but you're not really boosting anything much with the defense, so you might as well go for Trailblaze Swords Dance. But Cinderace is just a very good mon, and it is something to it's going to be a force in this tournament. Our next tier 2 pick, and I was not expecting to get this tier 2 pick right here. We did get both Cinderace and Meowscarada, and I tell you what, that's a lot of offensive prowess right there. Not a lot of bulk besides Celesteela, but we have a lot of offensive prowess with Cinderace and Meowscarada. Meowscarada does get its own set of hazard setting with the spikes. Sorry, I'm clicking around trying to look for spikes. It gets spikes, it gets T-spikes, it gets trick room out of, don't know why, but Meowscarada is going to be a menace. I don't tend to play with hazards on my Scarf sets, but I know those are a thing for late game purposes, so we might run into that problem because spikes and T-spikes look very good on a lot of opponents. It is a type of hazards and is forcing hazard controls and really good positioning. Flower Trick and Knockoff is probably what you'll see most with U-turn. Probably Scarf set because Meowscarada Scarf is very deadly. Of course, we can run offset sets, so like this Nasty Plot special set with Giga Drain, Dark Pulse, Power Gem. Giga Drain could be Energy Ball as well, but sustainability. And then you can run an offset spec set, which also does quite a bit. 81 is respectable. I know 110 is right there, but 81 is respectable. So don't sleep on special Meowscarada. So now we're going to move on to our tier 3. And for type synergy purposes, Steel and Flying, and we can complete our Firewater Grass core. We went with Blue the Gastrodon here. I probably should have put the nicknames up there so you guys can see our cast of characters we're dealing with. We have Blue, our Gastrodon here, so you guys know the Gastrodon set. I like to run the very defensive set here: Scald, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Recover. Of course, the Gastrodon has hazards this gen, so I can run Stealth, Rock plus Rest. Scald and Ice Beam is literally Water Ice coverage, so it's near perfect coverage in its own right. We have Hidden Power and Toxic back, so we can Hidden Power Fire to tech in to hit Ferrothorns and Ferroseeds and Scizors and whatnot. So we can definitely take some hits here with Gastro. It's a good defensive also with 2 defensive typings and our Firewater Grass Core. So our next tier option is Jellicent. Now, I know what you're saying already, like, oh, that kind of does the same thing as Gastrodon. And I'll be honest with you, in that draft process, I was not in the right mind, was going through other stuff as well. So I was kind of just winging it, doing stuff on the fly. I was like going urgent care and whatnot. So that explains why some of the draft is a bit wonky in some areas, and that's why we have the sub plan. But Jellicent is very good at blocking spinners, is also very tanky. We have dual status, a direct dual status. I don't have to fish for Scald Burns, even though I could with Scald. Jellicent does get Scald, Strength Sap, and Hex. You know, Jellicent is very, very tanky. It water absorbs, we block rapid spinners. It could be of good use for us. It's always, you know, we can run AV, an offset AV set with 105 Spadef, boosting to even greater heights. It's a very good mon. Yes, it does the same thing as Gastrodon, so that's something you gotta watch out for. And that's why we have the sub plan, which I'll explain when we get there, because we're almost there. Yeah, so that's our tier 3 picks. I thought, again, water type is a great typing, and you know, blocking spinners is very important as well. Yeah. So our tier 4 picks. So remember, we have 2 tier 4 picks. So you're gonna go with 2 tier 4 picks. Go over tier 4 picks right now. So first, I needed a dragon type because I have steel. I needed to complete my priority at this point was to complete the steel dragon fairy core. So Regidrago is our dragon type of choice. I thought it was the best out of the tier 4 that were there. And Regidrago is not one to sleep on. It has 200 HP. With the 50 defenses, but it is actually very, very bulky. And pure dragon type is actually rather defensive. So, you know, we're not quad weak to ice, quad weak to fairy. We can tank some hits, some super effective hits because of the big HP stat, and hit very hard in return with our coverage moves. It does get fairly decent amount of coverage. Earthquake and Fire Fang and Thunder Fang, Hammer Arm, you know, Outrage and whatnot. You know, it is a Gen 8 mon, so it doesn't get access to Toxic, but I know Gen 9 gave it stuff as well. I know, I mean, obviously everyone gets Terra Blast. Imagine I could Terra Fairy, that would be brilliant. But you know, that's not the thing. We do also get Thunder Fang, Body Slam, Crunch, so we got quite a decent coverage options here. Dragon's Maul, if you don't know, is essentially a free band or a free spec, so stab plus a band. So Dragon Claw, I'm going to prefer running Dragon Claw over anything, because with fairy types running around, depending on my opponent's team, I don't want to get resisted. I outrage resisted just to take damage, unnecessary damage, and then have to force a switch out or something, or be locked in. Alright, so Dragon Claw is going to be my dragon move of choice here. And EQ hits steel types and a coverage move. You know, you'll probably see mostly physical Regidrago, although it can run special with Dragon Energy plus Dragon Pulse or some other sets with specs. So Regidrago isn't something to sleep on. I'm going to say it one more time. Regidrago isn't something to sleep on. It will be important. Our Mega, so Audino is our Mega. Another rule in the league is that you can Mega whenever you want to if you have a Mega. If you don't know, Audino's Mega ability is Healer, which is an okay if you're doubles. I guess, I don't know if it functions in singles, but I know doubles it functions really well. The key ability is Regenerator. So with Audino being so fat, I can use Regenerator to my advantage to just soak hits and dish out status. So that's what this set's pretty much for. So it gets toxic. So imagine I send out Audino on a Ferrothorn or something, I don't know. I can run Flamethrower. Alright, now I just mix-match my examples on my paper here. But I can run Flamethrower, right? Ferrothorn, Flamethrower. That'll do a chunk of damage. Excuse me. And then, say I want to switch in on a Stallmon. So Quagsire comes to mind. I can eat a Scald or whatnot because I am very tanky, and then I can dish out a Toxic of my own. Obviously switch out Regenerator, all that stuff. It gets Heal Bell to knock out its status conditions, right? So Audino is a very tanky, I can run it as a very tanky wall, similar to how I run my Blissies with the Calm Mind, Bolt Beam coverage and sub. Of course, this is a variant of that with Toxic, Calm Mind, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam does not get Soft Boil, it gets Wish. But you know, this is just an example set of it. And of course we have your normal set as well, Heal Bell, Wish, Toxic Knockoff. Again, Audino I feel was a very good pick just in the situation we're in. There was no Dash Bun anymore. There was Granbull, I think that's a tier 5 pick, and I know Intimidate is very good, but I don't know, I just thought having the ability to change my type into Fairy to hit Resist Dragon and get off some potential status, I thought that was a good pick in my mind. And our last tier 5 pick is Shuckle. So at this point in the game, I'm high as a kite, like I'm just not having it. So the primary plan was to try and get a Masquerain to get webs, because Masquerain is Intimidate. Intimidate webs is very, very good, and I think Masquerain's underrated as a lead. You run Sashes normally, yes, it's not the bulkiest thing, but it also gets Scald, it gets Stun Spore, and it gets webs. So if you are able to tank a hit and be defensive, Masquerain is very, very underratedly good. Shuckle was my next alternative option, and I think the other option was Orbeetle, but Orbeetle was taken, Masquerain was taken. So Shuckle was my last option. Yes, I have hazards in Stealth Rock, Sticky Web, Knockoff, and Toxic. This is the normal set you see on Shuckle. Shuckle is also very tanky, so we have a lot of defense going on, a lot of status going on, hazards. But what you'll notice is that we don't have hazard clearers, which is a big issue in a game where everyone's going to run your hazards, your ground gaming hazards type of deal. So, you know, Shuckle was a panic pick, admittedly, but I do think that taking Shuckle off the board was a good idea, as well as being an alternative as well. You know, I seen a team that looked like they were kind of building a semi-Trick Room team. So I mean, you've seen this Shuckle set in my Gen 8 Wi-Fi battles. You know, I can run a Power Trick Shuckle. This is a thing, because so this is normally ran with a Brave Nature here, but then you could also just do this with is it Impish? I think it's Impish. So you can run Impish, right, and then you can just whoop your stats up like that. And under Trick Room, because you're slower, you switch your attack and defense. So essentially you give Shuckle a 614, or I think it's 614 to 559, whatever this is, and whatever the stat is like that. But you switch your attack and defense, meaning your Shuckle is hitting at a base 230 attack, and because you're Trick Room and you're slow as a gnat's ball sack, I guess, you're going to be hitting first every time in Rock Slide Earthquake. Again, as we covered, hits everything pretty much, and Gyro Ball. So it's a good Trick Room counter as well, but I don't know if we'll keep Shuckle, to be honest with you, just because, yes, we can set up hazards, but how useful is hazards going to be if the opponent can just clear it and we just left on our side? I think we can get more mileage off of something better. Now we're going into our tier 5, tier 6. This is almost a 20-minute video. Main Electric is our tier 5 pick. Main Electric is a great electric typing, very quick, hits decently hard, and yes, is it a one-trick pony? Yes, because it's technically running these same moves here. You can run HP Grass over HP Ice. You're running these same basic moves over here, but you can get Throat Spray. You can run Specs. You can run Shota, right? So people already know what a main Electric is going to bring, but the key with main Electric is going to be the item usage. What item I'm going to use. If I Throat Spray and get my Hyper Voice off, now I can freely just click Thunderbolt, HP Ice, and Flamethrower without being locked in. If I run Shuka, I can take a Gliscor hit, I can take a Landorus hit with their EQs and hit them with HP Ice. If I ran Specs or Scarf, you already know I'm going to outspeed you and hit you hard, or just straight up hit you hard. So main Electric I thought was a very good pick. We have Dusknoir here, and I'll be honest here, I know you're going to say Jellicent, so this is why I'm probably going to think Jellicent is probably going to get the boot. But you know, Dusknoir is a very, very bulky ghost type. My first option was Dusclops, to be honest with you, get the Toxic Willow, and Dusknoir can get Toxic and Willow as well. I just think Eviolite Dusclops fares a lot better. I get 100 attack is pretty good, and we have Poltergeist back because of National Dex format. So I think it is workable. Dustnor is a good trick room counter as well in its own right, but we have to, I think with Dustnor we have to play a little careful. We can't just run a standard defensive set. I don't think that'll give us a lot of mileage. I think we got to up our game with our Dustnor, up our Dustnor game, so to speak. And our last pick, I mean, I'll be honest here, a good spin blocker as well. Yeah. And our last pick is Morgrim, because I think I needed a Prankstermon with screens. Because this is a makeshift Grimmsnarl. Morgrim is a menace because of Prankster. We have the dual screen. This is pretty much right here a standard Grimmsnarl set, right? So I figured, what the hell, why not? We need something to be more defensive and slow some tiers down, slow the speed tiers down, be a disturbance basically. And I thought Morgrim was a great pick. Yes, I know it's very dark, I know it's repeated typing, but I think out of necessity we needed this pick. So that's the main 11 mons we have. Okay, and I already listed some sub options here. So our tier 3 sub pick, because you can only trade within the tiers. So if I trade a tier 3, it has to be a tier 3. If it's a tier 4, it has to be a tier 4, etc. So because Jellicent does the same thing as Gastro, and I think Dustnor can get a little more mileage off of being natural ghost versus Jellicent, I'm thinking of switching Jellicent for Klefki. Because, I mean, yeah, we will have double Prankster. And yes, you know, we have Foul Play, Spikes, Thunderwave, Reflect, Light Screen, whatever, Fog. But if you think about it though, a good thing Morgrim has over Klefki is the ability to switch out with Parting Shot. And I know tier 5 and tier 6 is very hard to pick out a good sub, so I don't know, I'm thinking Klefki though, because Steel Fairy is a very good defensive typing, and I know Klefkis can run very defensive based on how you build them. So I figured this is a good option. Another great option is Scrafty for a tier 4 pick. Again, this would be replacing Shuckle in this case. You know, 150 is very bulky Scrafty if you build it right. You know, the only thing holding it back is its speed. It hits very hard. You have D-Dance, you have a status Shedder and Shedskin. You literally have Moxie right here. If you get the ball rolling, you're not going to stop Scrafty, and Intimidate to be bulky. So, you know, I figure you can, if I really wanted to, I can full send a Scrafty. Because I doubt anyone's going to lead off with, like, what's a good mod? Gardevoir or I don't know, I'm blanking, you know, Grand Bull or something like that. At the beginning, I think people are going to lead with their hazard setters or screen setters or whatnot, just because everyone's trying to play that game and get good positioning. So I think Scrafty would be a good idea if we want to really full send something. Same goes with Celesteela, because everyone's thinking, because most of the time Celesteela runs defensive, so probably an offset Autotomize, you know, or Regidrago, even offset Dragon Dance right out the gate, going for that sweep, could be a good factor for us. But if you notice with my team, you know, ignore the sub ideas for now, but if you look at my team, I guess in general, this team is heavily reliant on positioning and good playing. Can I play good? I believe I can play good. Okay, I'll say it right. I believe I can play good. You know, do I get into my own head? Yes, I think everybody gets in their own head. But this team doesn't really have a gimmick to rely on. This team is relying on a bunch of good playing and good positioning. Do I think it's a team that can win? I think it can on the right opponent. Do I think it'll get a lot of wins? No, I think this is a team that will either win spectacularly or lose spectacularly, to be 100% honest with you. But you know, we'll find out. I mean, I know the result of what, the first 3 games, 4 games by this point. So I know already, but I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. You guys got to stay tuned and watch out while I watch. But yeah, you know, I think this team can run very good, and I think it can be threatening to some degree. We can definitely deter hazards from coming up, because I don't think anyone wants to position themselves where they have to remove their own hazards. But we'll see. So this tournament, more details about the tournament. It's 7 weeks. It is preliminary, I'm going to call it, where it's like round robin. You play against everybody in your division. and from there, the top 4 in each division make it into the top 16. And in the top 16, you'll play up against the other division. So I'm in the Scarlet division, because why not? Look, I have this big burly red dragon right here. I should be in the Scarlet division. Okay, with Scarlet division, we're playing. So we'll play against our Scarlet conference. We'll play against our Red division counterpart. And then at the end, it's kind of like NFL. You play against the top person in Scarlet. Will play the top person in Violet for the championship. I think I explained that right. Hopefully I did. But yeah, this is our team. Wish us luck. Let us know what you think down below, how you think we'll do. If you're a future opponent, maybe can you tell me perhaps what you glaring weaknesses you see? Huh? But yeah, with that being said, please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. This is going to be a long ass video, and I hope I'm speaking loud on purpose because mic issues again. But until then, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.